A 14-year-old girl walks into a therapist's office for the first time. She's deeply depressed and wants to talk about the solution she's seeing on her phone and hearing from her friends. She needs to become a boy, and the therapist is required by law to give only one answer. Yes, you are actually a boy, and you should start transitioning immediately. This is the reality right now in 23 states in the District of Columbia. Therapists are legally prohibited from counseling confused kids away from transitioning. They can only affirm. Fortunately, the Supreme Court may soon put an end to this insanity. We start in Colorado. Back in 2019, the state banned what it called conversion therapy. You're probably thinking of violent therapies on kids that are attracted to the same sex. Activists have managed to take that term and expand it to cover not just sexual orientation, but also gender identity. Conversion therapy now includes any attempt to help a young person who identifies as trans grow more comfortable with their biological sex.
Pressuring you to be someone else, that's not legitimate therapy. That's why it's banned here in Colorado.
So Colorado's ban on conversion therapy requires therapists to affirm trans patients. They must use preferred pronouns. Doing anything else risks a $5,000 fine and loss of their license. Kaylee Childs is the woman who brought this ban to the Supreme Court. She's a therapist in Colorado Springs and is a Christian. She believes in the traditional conception of a man and woman. Her clients specifically come to her because of her faith.
A lot of them do come to me and express that they're here because they're aware that I'm a Christian. They want help, kind of untangling that confusing situation.
Kaylee says that Colorado is requiring her to say things she doesn't believe in.
If your daughter were to say, I think I'm a boy, we can only affirm and validate that and assist with gender transition.
Kaylee has sued the Colorado government for violating her First Amendment right to free speech. She's lost in the lower courts, and she's taken her case all the way to the Supreme Court. Kaylee's lawyers got into the science behind transitioning, including the fact that over 90% of kids suffering from gender confusion naturally grow out of it.
Up to 90% of kids who struggle with that before puberty will work their way through it.
Which shows that trans identity is not innate. It's not an immutable characteristic. But Colorado is making therapists act like it is.
But this law says that if any of those children go to a licensed professional and say, I would like help realigning my identity with my sex, that licensed professional has to decline to help them.
Colorado's lawyer repeated a common claim that conversion therapy is proven to be harmful.
There is not a single expert willing to endorse conversion therapy.
Kaylee's lawyer pointed out that all of these studies deal exclusively with violent physical treatments like shock therapy.
They treat voluntary conversations the same as shock therapy.
There is, in fact, no evidence that simple talk therapy damages children. On the other hand, a new study from the Department of Health and Human Services calls into question the supposed benefits of transition. It found that, quote, there is no evidence that transitioning reduces the incidence of suicide or improves mental health among kids. And it found that transitions have, quote, significant harms, including infertility, cardiovascular disease, psychiatric disorders, and regret. Justice Samuel Alito pressed hard on Colorado's lawyer, comparing the campaign to aggressively transition children to other, now discredited medical practices.
Was there a time when many medical professionals thought that certain people should not be permitted to procreate because they had low IQs?
I don't know that, but I will accept the premise.
Was there a time when there were many medical professionals who thought every child born with Down syndrome should be immediately put in an institution?
I don't know that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Over half the country now legally requires therapists to affirm gender-confused kids. Christians are being forced to act against their faith and set their patients on a path that frequently ends in serious medical problems and regret. The Supreme Court will render a decision on Kaylee's case this summer. Hopefully, they'll put an end to these laws and let confused kids and their parents get help from people that share their faith.